The moment the church doors slammed open, everyone turned. The music stopped. The bride gasped. And my brother's face went white when he saw her walking down the aisle instead of me. That was when I knew the chaos had begun. I wasn't there. I had been banned. My own brother told me I could not come to his wedding for the family's peace. So I sent someone in my place. Someone who knew the truth. Someone who carried my pain like a loaded secret. She took one step, then another. People whispered. Phones came out. My mother stood up, shaking. My brother shouted her name like it was a curse. And right before she opened her mouth to speak, right before the truth came out and shattered everything. I want you to pause right here. Because what happened next changed lives. It broke hearts. It sent people to courtrooms and jail cells. And it started with one sentence my brother said to me months before his wedding. So if you want to know how a family's idea of peace turned into public war, stay with me. Like, watch, and subscribe for more because this story is not gentle and it is far from over. Now let me tell you who I am. My name is Lena Carter. I am the older sister. The one who always fixed things. The one who kept secrets. The one who swallowed pain so others could smile. I grew up in a quiet town in Ohio. White houses. Clean lawns. Everyone waved. Everyone pretended. My family looked perfect from the outside. My father, Richard, was strict and loud. My mother, Elaine, was soft but scared. And my younger brother, Evan, was the golden child. The boy who could do no wrong. I loved Evan. I really did. When our dad drank too much and yelled, I stood in front of Evan. When Mom cried in the kitchen at night, I cleaned the dishes and told her jokes. When Evan messed up, I took the blame. I thought that was what sisters did. When Evan met Claire, his future wife, I welcomed her with open arms. She was pretty and sweet. Or so I thought. She laughed at my jokes. She hugged me too tight. She asked too many questions. But I ignored the strange feelings in my gut. I told myself I was just tired, just sensitive. Then the small things started. Claire would forget to invite me to group dinners. She would make jokes about me being single in front of family. She would whisper things to Evan and stop talking when I walked in. One night, I asked Evan if I had done something wrong. He didn't even look at me. "You're just dramatic, Lena," he said. "Stop making things hard." That hurt. But I swallowed it like always. The real break came a year later. I had just ended a long relationship. I was heartbroken and lost. One night, after too much wine, I told Claire something private. Something painful. Something that could destroy lives if shared. She held my hands. She looked me in the eyes. "I would never tell," she said. 2 weeks later, my mother stopped speaking to me. My father called me names I had never heard before. And Evan looked at me like I was a stranger. That was when I learned Claire had told them everything. Twisted it. Changed it. Painted me as a monster. I tried to explain. I begged. I cried. No one listened. Then Evan dropped the final blow. He came to my apartment one afternoon, arms crossed, face cold. "For the family's peace," he said slowly, "I think it's best if you don't come to my wedding." I laughed at first. I thought it was a joke. He didn't laugh back. "You bring tension," he said. "Claire doesn't feel safe around you." I felt like the floor opened under my feet. "I'm your sister," I whispered. "And this is my family now," he replied. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling and felt something change inside me. Something quiet. Something sharp. I stopped crying. I started thinking. If I was such a danger, if my presence could destroy peace, what would happen if the truth showed up without me? That's when I called Maya. Maya was my college roommate. Loud. Brave. Honest to a fault. She knew everything. She had seen the messages. The lies. The proof I had saved in a folder called Just in Case. "Are you serious?" she asked when I told her the plan. "I won't go," I said. "But someone will." The weeks before the wedding were torture. Social media posts. Smiling photos. Family group chats without my name. I stayed quiet. On the morning of the wedding, I dressed Maya in the blue dress my mother had once helped me choose. I fixed her hair. I hugged her tight. "Don't speak unless they push you," I told her. She nodded. "I've got you." I didn't go to the church. I sat in my car across town, phone in my hand, heart racing. Then my phone buzzed. One message. "They just saw me." That's when the screaming started. That's when the police were called. That's when my brother ran outside, face red, shouting words he could never take back. And that right there, that was when the first extreme thing happened. Because 10 minutes later, my phone rang again. This time, it wasn't Maya. It was the police. And they were asking me to come down to the station for questioning. The police station smelled like old coffee and cold metal. I remember that because my hands were shaking so badly, I had to press them under my legs to make them stop. I kept telling myself I did nothing wrong. I didn't go to the wedding. I didn't shout. I didn't lie. But the officer across from me didn't look like he cared. He was tall, with tired eyes and a flat voice. His name tag said Officer Reynolds. "Why did you send someone to your brother's wedding?" he asked. I opened my mouth, then closed it. How do you explain years of pain in one sentence? "I didn't send her to cause trouble," I said slowly. "I sent her because I was banned. And because the truth matters." He wrote something down. "Your brother says you planned to disrupt the ceremony." I almost laughed. "My brother," I said, "planned to erase me." He finally looked up at me then. Across the room, I could hear shouting. A woman crying. A man yelling my name like it burned his tongue. "Evan." I stood up without thinking. "Can I talk to him?" I asked. Officer Reynolds sighed. "Sit down." Minutes later, Evan walked in. I barely recognized him. His suit was wrinkled. His hair was a mess. His eyes were wild, like an animal trapped in a cage. "You ruined everything," he shouted.
I felt something snap in my chest.
"No," I said quietly. "I didn't." He laughed. A harsh, ugly sound. "You sent that girl to embarrass us. In front of everyone." "Maya didn't lie," I replied. "She only told them what you refused to hear." He slammed his hands on the table. "You're sick, Lena." That word. Again. Officer Reynolds stepped between us. "Enough," he said. "Both of you."
Evan pointed at me.
"She's been trying to destroy my relationship for years." I looked at him. Really looked. And I realized something that made my stomach twist. He believed it. Not because it was true, but because it was easier. They let me leave that night, but not before handing me a paper. A notice. Claire had filed a complaint. Said I was harassing her. Said I sent someone to threaten her on her wedding day. I walked out into the night air feeling numb. My phone buzzed nonstop. Maya. Unknown numbers.
Family.
I ignored them all except one. A text from my mother. "Why couldn't you just stay away?" That hurt more than anything else. The next morning, social media exploded. Videos from the church were everywhere. Clips of Maya standing at the front. Her voice shaking but strong as she spoke. "She isn't here because she was silenced," Maya said in the video. "But I am." People argued in the comments. Took sides. Chose stories they liked best. Claire posted a long message about protecting peace and toxic family members. And then she tagged me. That was when the lawyers showed up. I got served papers at work. A restraining order request. Defamation claims. My boss pulled me aside that afternoon. "We think it's best you take some time off," she said gently. I nodded. At home, I finally listened to Maya's voice message.
"They tried to stop me," she said.
"Your mom cried. Your dad screamed. Claire fainted, or pretended to. Then Evan shoved me. Hard." My heart dropped. "There were cops everywhere," Maya continued. "They asked if I felt unsafe. I told them the truth. Everything." I slid down the wall and sat on the floor. This was bigger than I planned.
But it was also out now.
That night, I opened the just-in-case folder. Messages.
Dates.
Voice recordings. Screenshots of Claire asking me questions, then repeating my words to others with changes. Proof of lies stacked on lies. I emailed everything to myself.
To Maya.
To a lawyer a friend recommended. 2 days later, I stood in court. Claire sat across the room, holding Evan's hand like a trophy.
She wouldn't look at me.
The judge spoke calmly, used words like temporary and review. Then Claire's lawyer stood up. She has a history of emotional instability, he said, pointing at me. And now she's escalated. I felt my legs go weak. My lawyer hadn't arrived yet. Traffic, they said. The judge nodded slowly. For now, he said, the restraining order will be granted. The gavel came down. Just like that, I was legally dangerous. Outside the courtroom, Evan stopped me. This could have all been avoided, he said. I looked at him, really looked.
This is what you wanted, I replied. He didn't deny it.
That night, someone knocked on my door.
Hard.
I opened it to find 2 officers standing there. Lena Carter? One asked. Yes. You're under arrest for violating a restraining order. My heart slammed into my ribs. I haven't gone near her, I said. I swear. They stepped aside. Claire stood behind them, smiling. And that's when I knew this story was no longer just about a wedding. It was about survival.
Cold.
That was the first thing I felt. Cold metal cuffs on my wrists. Cold air on my skin. Cold eyes watching me like I was already guilty. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I was too shocked to make a sound. The police car door closed, and the world outside disappeared. Streetlights flashed past the window like broken stars. I kept thinking there had to be a mistake. I didn't violate anything, I said softly. I swear. One officer looked at me through the mirror. You can explain it downtown. Downtown. That word sounded heavy.
Permanent.
At the station, they took my phone, my shoelaces, my dignity. I sat on a bench with a woman crying beside me and a man laughing on the other side like jail was a joke. My name was called. Again. I stood before a different officer this time. Detective Harris. Older.
Calm.
Too calm. Claire Thompson claims you contacted her through a third party, he said. I felt sick. Maya? I asked. He nodded. She says your friend threatened her. That's a lie, I said. Maya never threatened anyone. He slid a paper across the table. A printed message. It was from Maya's number, but I knew instantly it wasn't her writing.
Short. Sharp. Mean.
The words made my stomach twist. They faked this, I whispered. Detective Harris studied my face. Then you'd better prove it. They put me in a cell that night. One thin blanket. One hard bed. No clock. I cried then. Quietly. Into my hands. Not because I was scared. Because I finally understood. They weren't trying to silence me anymore. They were trying to erase me. The next morning, I was released on bail thanks to my lawyer, Daniel Brooks, who showed up with tired eyes and coffee-stained papers.
This is bad, he said gently.
But not hopeless. Outside the station, Maya hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. I didn't send that message, she said over and over. I swear. I know, I replied. Across the street, a black car was parked. Inside, Claire sat in the passenger seat, watching. Days turned into weeks.
Court dates.
Papers.
Fees.
My savings vanished. My job let me go due to stress concerns. Friends stopped calling. Even my mother stopped replying. One afternoon, Daniel called me into his office. I found something, he said. He turned his screen toward me. Phone records. The fake message sent from Maya's number had been rerouted. Masked. Sent using a service tied to a private account. An account registered to a name I knew very well. Evan Carter. My breath caught. My brother? I whispered. Daniel nodded. He may have helped her. Helped her. The words burned. That night, I sat alone in my apartment, lights off, staring at the wall. All those years. All that protection. All that love. He chose her. I recorded a voice note. My hands shaking. Evan, I said, I know it was you. I didn't send it. Not yet. Instead, I waited. 2 days later, Claire's world cracked. A former friend of hers contacted Maya. Sent screenshots. Messages.
Plans.
Claire had been preparing this for months. Coaching Evan. Collecting lies. Setting traps. We gave everything to Daniel. The court date was moved up. The courtroom was packed. This time, I wasn't alone. Daniel stood strong.
Calm. Precise.
He presented the evidence slowly.
Clearly.
The judge leaned forward. Claire's face changed. Her smile slipped. Then Daniel played the audio. A recording. Claire's voice. You just need to send it from your phone, she said. She'll look guilty. The room went silent. Evan stood up. That's out of context, he shouted. The judge slammed the gavel. Sit down. Claire started crying. Real tears this time. The judge turned to the officers. I'm ordering a full investigation, she said. Handcuffs clicked.
But not on me.
Claire was escorted out, screaming. Evan collapsed into his chair. I should have felt happy. I didn't. Outside the courtroom, reporters surrounded me. Do you feel vindicated? One asked. I opened my mouth to answer. And that's when I saw my father, standing behind them, his face dark, his hands shaking. That night, my apartment door was kicked in, and I woke up to my father standing over me with a gun. And that was when the story took its darkest turn yet. I froze. My father's hands were shaking so badly the gun rattled. His eyes were red, wet, and wild. I had never seen him like this.
Not even on his worst nights.
Dad, I whispered. Put it down. He didn't. You did this, he said, voice breaking. You destroyed my son. My heart felt like it was tearing in half. I told the truth, I said softly. That's all. He laughed, but it came out wrong. Empty. The truth, he shouted. Your truth put his wife in jail. Your truth made the whole country laugh at us. I slowly sat up, careful not to move too fast. She lied, I said. You heard the recording. He shook his head. I raised you, he said. And this is how you repay us? I realized then something painful and clear. He wasn't here to listen. He was here to end it. Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone must have called the police. Maybe a neighbor. Maybe Maya, who had been worried when I didn't answer my phone. My father heard them too.
His face changed.
This was supposed to be quiet, he muttered. The gun lifted higher. I closed my eyes. Then, a loud bang. But it wasn't a gunshot. The front door burst open. Police shouted. Lights flashed. My father dropped the gun and fell to his knees, crying like a child. They took him away in handcuffs. I sat on the floor, shaking, unable to speak. That night, I didn't sleep at home. I stayed with Maya. The next morning, the news was everywhere. Father arrested in shocking family dispute, the headline said. My phone rang nonstop. Daniel called. Your father has been charged, he said carefully. Illegal firearm possession. Breaking and entering. Assault. I felt sick. What about Evan? I asked. Daniel paused. He's cooperating now, he said. Against Claire. That hurt more than I expected. Days later, I faced Evan again. This time it was in a small room with no cameras. He looked smaller. Older. Broken. I didn't mean for it to go this far, he said. You always say that, I replied. He cried. I just wanted peace, he whispered. I stood up. There was never peace, I said. There was silence. I walked out. The trial came fast. Claire tried to fight, tried to twist. But the evidence was too strong. She was found guilty. Sentenced. The judge read the years out loud, and Claire screamed my name as they took her away. I didn't look back. My father's case followed. He pleaded guilty. When the judge asked if he wanted to say anything, he looked at me. I'm sorry, he said. For the first time in my life, I believed him. Then came the final blow. A letter arrived in the mail. No return address. Inside was a single page. Evan's handwriting. I told them everything, it said. About the wedding.
About the plan.
About what really happened to Mom all those years ago. My hands went cold, because that was a secret buried deeper than everything else. And if it came out, It would destroy what was left of my family forever. I read the letter again. And again. My hands would not stop shaking. What really happened to Mom all those years ago? Those words felt heavier than jail bars. Heavier than courtrooms. Heavier than the gun I had seen in my father's hands. Maya sat across from me, watching my face change. "What?" she asked softly. I handed her the letter. She read it once. Then she looked up slowly. "Oh my God," she whispered. For the first time since all this began, I was afraid of the truth.
Not because it would hurt me,
but because it would finally free me. A week later, the call came. I was summoned to testify again. This time, not about the wedding, not about Claire, but about my mother. The courtroom was smaller, quieter. No cameras, no reporters, just lawyers, a judge, and the past. My mother sat in the front row, hands folded, eyes empty. She had aged years and months. When she saw me, her lips trembled. I almost turned back, but I didn't. I took the stand. The prosecutor spoke gently. "Lena Carter," she said, "do you remember the night your mother fell down the stairs when you were 16? The room went still. "Yes," I said. Everyone had heard that story. Mom slipped. Mom fell. Mom was fragile. That's what we were told. The prosecutor nodded. "And do you remember what happened before that?" My chest tightened. I looked at my mother. Then I looked at my father, sitting in chains. I remembered the shouting, the bottle, the crash. "I remember," I said. My voice shook, but I didn't stop. "My father pushed her." My mother sobbed. Gasps filled the room. "He told me," I continued, "that if I ever said a word, our family would be destroyed. He said it would be my fault." Tears streamed down my face.
"So I stayed quiet," I said.
"For years." The judge leaned forward. "And your brother?" the prosecutor asked. I swallowed. He saw it too. Evan lowered his head. That was the moment everything finally made sense. Why my mother shrank. Why my father drank. Why Evan clung to control. Why I was always the one told to keep the peace. Silence had been our family rule. The judge ended the session early. Outside, my mother stopped me. She reached for my hands like she was afraid I might disappear. "I'm sorry," she cried. "I should have protected you." I hugged her for the first time in years. "I needed you," I whispered. That day, my father was sentenced. Longer this time. As they took him away, he looked back at me. I didn't hate him. I didn't forgive him either. I just let him go. Evan's sentence came next. Reduced. He had cooperated fully. Told everything. Accepted blame. Before he was led away, he asked to speak to me.
"I was wrong," he said.
About everything. I studied his face. The little boy I once protected was gone. "I know," I replied. Claire never spoke to me again. From what I heard, prison was not kind to her. For the first time, lies didn't save her. Months passed. The noise faded. The world moved on. But I didn't go back to who I was. I became someone else. Stronger. Quieter.
Free.
I moved cities. Started over. Found a job where no one knew my last name. Maya stayed close. My mother started therapy. We talked.
Slowly. Carefully.
One evening, as I packed old boxes, I found the blue dress, the one I never wore to the wedding. I smiled. That wedding was never about love. It was about control. And when they tried to ban me for the family's peace, they never imagined what would happen when silence finally broke. I didn't ruin my brother's wedding. The truth did. And it didn't come to destroy. It came to set me free. This is where my story ends. Not with revenge, but with justice. And my voice finally heard.